Hey guys, it's JC, the Gospel Centered Health Coach. Today, we're tackling the topic of fear again. My last video, Am I Living a Fear-Based Life? I got a lot of comments on that video. And I really want to tackle the question next. Is it really possible to live without fear? Is it really, really possible? I mean, we know it says in the scriptures all the time where Christ says to us, fear not. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It says it again and again. But do you really know many people that are living without fear? That aren't worrying ever, that have no anxiety about anything, that really are living that kind of peace and rest that he describes as possible in the scriptures. But how many do you know, even among the believers in your circles, how many do you know that really are achieving it? This has been a question I've asked myself a lot. Like, it's one thing to talk about the nice, pretty words in scripture that say, fear not, it's okay, don't worry, I'm here. But it's another thing entirely to actually live like that, to actually have it happen so that the world could be falling apart around us and we are not afraid. That's what we're talking about. I absolutely do not think a little 10-minute video, oh yeah, here's your 3-step plan and just do these things and it'll stop and you'll be fixed and you'll be fine. We're talking about one of the hardest things to flip. Our human body is designed to have a fear response, right? With our adrenaline, it floods your body. You see a stressor and you feel a physical reaction in your heart starts beating, your brain starts spinning. Fear is a normal human thing, especially in incredibly terrifying circumstances. For Christ to say, fear not, it's like he's asking the impossible. Literally. Don't you feel that way? For him to say, okay, I know these awful, horrible circumstances are happening, some health diagnosis or a financial crisis or something really scary happening with your kid or with your marriage or, even the pandemic, everything we've dealt with, for Christ to look at us and say, do not be afraid, almost seems like, how? That's what we're talking about. So all I want to do today is offer 2 suggestions. I've been dancing with this one for several years because it started, I've always been asking myself this question, but several years ago, we went knee deep into some really, really scary stuff personally. And I finally went, okay, I want to know how this could happen because the fear is eating me alive. And then, like I said in my last video, I also have been addressing my fear of rejection, my fear of conflict, my fear of failure, all those other things. I don't want to live that way. I don't want to live a fear-based life. So here's my 2 suggestions that I have time for today. If you want to go deeper, I have a whole series on my podcast. I'll link below. Books I'll link below if you really feel like you want to tackle this. The first one that really began to shift it for me was I started to realize that a lot of my spinning into fear was coming as a result of the adversary just taunting me with the circumstances that I was being confronted with. Just getting in my head and spinning the what ifs and just really having a lot of play in my head to make those emotions go out of control. And so I realized I've got to step it up in terms of having a dialogue in my head, having ammunition to fight back to those fears that he was trying to push into my brain. And so I did it through scripture. And I'm not talking about 10 minutes in the scriptures in the morning and then you go about your day and you don't think anything else of it. I'm talking about a direct, specific effort to get our mind thinking in terms of his promises rather than the fearful circumstances, so that our brain is rehearsing faith in him, what he is able to do. All of those words from scriptures are now the new thing circling, when in the old me, it used to be the bad stuff. I'd be obsessing about whatever it was. To replace that, this is my funny little spiral. I've talked about this in other videos. The date on this is 2014. Can you see? Fear, anxiety, and doubt. I was going through some serious stuff where I was like, okay, no, I need some help. And so I started filling this with scriptures, just filling it and quotes. This is Isaiah 41. Fear thou not, I am with thee. Be not afraid, or be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. I will help thee. I will uphold thee with my right hand. Things like that. I didn't just fill this. I mean, I filled it. Every single page is filled. I kept it with me all the time. Like if I was in the car, between picking kids up, if I was in Walmart, I would pull it out of my purse and just sit it there, on the cart and just go over the words. I put several of my favorites. I printed them out and put them in the kitchen, like on the fridge by where I was cooking. I had different places. I'd also memorize many of them. And I just immersed myself in his promises, kind of like a drowning woman would grasp for a life jacket, like somebody threw you. That's what I felt like. I was going to drown in the fear if I didn't have a lifeline to hold on to. And so scripture became that for me. And again, it was an all day, every day kind of a thing where my mind had to be taught some new patterns, and wishful thinking wasn't doing it, right? Oh, I hope this works out okay. That's not enough to tackle the levels of fear we're talking about and the kind of anxiety that can completely overtake us. It had to be rock solid, a promise of God saying, I will be there. I will be a warrior for you. I will fight your battles. I am enough for this. Don't be afraid. I am right here. There's so many beautiful promises. And just that practice alone of taking scripture and just review, memorize, recite. It's almost like it was, like if you're on an old road that has ruts in the road and your wheels keep getting caught in those same old patterns. That's what the old patterns of fear felt like. And so I almost felt like I had to make new ruts, like over and over and over. So my default mental setting would go to his promises rather than the old ways of thinking. So this was huge for me. This was like an intense effort. Like I want to be done living this way. But it's like the Lord went, okay, then let's go. Are you serious about this? Let's do this. So I have since then kept that practice of just every time the fear starts to rise up, I'll grab this, I'll grab whatever, grab my scriptures. Like, no, songs with lyrics that prompt me to faith. It has become a habit that has really, really made a difference. Now, if you would like to go to my website on my favorites page, I'll put the link below. You just scroll. So click on my favorites page, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom because it has a lot of stuff listed. Go all the way down to the very bottom. I have linked 2 different PDF documents with all of these scriptures, at least the ones kind of my collection. One is biblical scriptures. The other one is a collection for those from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is my denomination. So I have 2 different ones with scriptures listed that could kind of give you a jump start. If you just reading those pages, I think there's just a couple. But just the act of reading verse after verse after verse after verse that is focused on faith, not fear, it is amazing the power it had over my mind to shift it into new patterns where I didn't get caught up in those same spirals. So that's the first one. The next one is a bigger one, and I'm still chewing on this, you guys. I'm still processing this and trying to kind of figure out how this works. But 1 John 4:18, I think I might have read this in the last video, but it's okay. John says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear. Perfect love casts it out because fear has torment. Oh my gosh, there's torment related to living in a fear-based life. Mental torment all the time. And so I was looking at other translations of that verse, and different ways of saying that were perfect love. What were they? Perfect love drives out fear, expels all fear, chases away fear, banishes fear. He's giving us the antidote in the scriptures. My love will wash it away. In fact, I was listening to a song on the radio the other day on K-Love. It's a Christian song by Jeremy Camp called When You Speak. And the chorus just struck me. I was like, I can't believe I'm studying this right now. And he's singing to me about it. The chorus says, when you speak, speaking of the Lord, I'm found in the sound of peace, be still. The wind and the waves bow to your will. Now listen to this. You drown my fear with a love more real than anything I feel. And it struck me like fear feels really, really real. It's terrifying. Circumstances can be terrifying. Whether it is a seasonal fear, where for a time there's a health problem or an employment problem or a financial problem or a problem with the kids or a problem with whatever. Those are just seasonal, but there's also chronic fears that we live with that are just ongoing, and it feels very real. And I love how those lyrics talk about how Christ's love can drown out the fear with a love that feels more real than that fear does. Does that make sense? Like, I loved that idea. But the question is, and you may have the same question I did, because I've been a believer my whole life. Like, I thought I knew Christ, but for some reason, I don't think I'd quite yet understood how to feast on his love, how to absolutely have access and taste it and feel it and have it be part of me so strongly and so powerfully that it would drown out my fear. And I think the way that I'm learning that happens the best, for me at least, is when not just picturing Christ with me, but imagining him in me. So there's a quote from church leader David A. Bednar. I don't have it with me, so I'll paraphrase. But it's the idea that it's one thing to know that Christ died for us. That is so crucial to the gospel of Jesus Christ and so important to know. He says, but it's another thing entirely to know that he wants to live in us through the power of the Spirit. He wants to live in us through the power of the Spirit. If you picture Christ in you, I mean, John 17, the intercessory prayer, Christ talks about that I will be in them and they in me. This unity, this coming together, this abiding, where we are in him and he is in us. Paul talks about that in Colossians, the hope of glory, Christ in us. John talks about it all over the place in his epistles, like 30 times or something, talking about being in us. If you can picture Christ in you, isn't that where the battle of fear is taking place? In your mind, in your heart, in your physical body. That's where the fear rages. And so to know, I don't just have him with me, can picture him like with me, next to me, to just kind of put his arm around me. He can be in me to fight that battle internally. And the way he does it is to fill me with his love, to just drench me in it, to flood me in it. Such an awareness of his love that it becomes the eye of the storm. The storm's still raging. But somehow, by tasting his love, that torment is cast out, that fear is drowned out, and I can just be here, abiding in him, close to him, grasping his hand with all I've got, because what I'm facing may be so terrifying that I don't know any other way to survive, right? We've come through some tough years, and we probably have more. I mean, we know he's coming, and we know scripture prophesies that it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. This is the last days, and that's what the scriptures teach. So either we master this of growing so close to him that he can cast out that fear. He can give us his peace. And it's a miraculous way that it's not by changing the circumstances. It's by leaving them right in place, and we are at peace in the middle of it. Right when things are falling apart, right when your kid may be making choices that you are terrified about, whatever, or your spouse, family member, things falling apart. That is the miracle he promises, is peace and a complete cessation of fear. He will drown it out with his love as we abide in him. Now, do you see that that's going to take more than just a little bit of scripture and a quick little prayer in the morning? If we really want to experience this miracle, it's going to take all we've got. It's going to take a mind focused on him. But isn't it worth that cost? The gift he's offering here of being able to stand just stand in peace and confidence, stand just swamped in his love while everybody else around us may be freaking out. We're not. Can you imagine? That's why I've given the last few years to a study of this. Like, I want this. I want this. If you wanted to look more into this again, check out the links below. I might do a couple more videos. I'm not planning on it right now, but we'll see. The Lord sometimes has other plans. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Prayers for you. Whatever you're going through, He is enough to drown out your fear. Have a great week.